But first up, how refreshing to see Infrastructure Australia starting to talk big picture stuff when it comes to future water security in this country. For too long, politicians of all persuasions have put water security and provision, especially in the country areas, into the too hard basket. In Queensland, for example, we've now got opposition leader Deb Frecklington talking about a Bradfield scheme to link water storage in the coastal areas to the bush. Infrastructure Australia today flagged desalination and water recycling plans as part of a national strategy to manage the country's most precious resource. It comes within the framework of a horrid drought and bushfire season, which has placed an enormous strain on our water supply. Towns like Stanthorpe in Queensland and Gloucester in New South Wales have been forced to truck water in just to survive. Now, Infrastructure Australia says Australians need to diversify away from a single source of water, such as dams, to build resilience against extreme weather events such as drought. Now, I know Bob Catter, who will be on the show very shortly, disagrees with that. But what they're saying is that the lack of supply diversification creates further water security risks for these communities. The 2020 Infrastructure Priority Report is a beauty. It also warns that roads, wooden bridges and telecommunication towers have been lost to firestorms and they need to be urgently upgraded. The report listed nationally significant projects such as town and water security as a 15-year commitment and a high priority. Also in the top priority segment was a national road maintenance strategy. In New South Wales, a priority project was the Great Western Highway improvements from Katoomba to Lithgow. In Victoria, it was Frankston Public Transport connectivity. In Queensland, it was an upgrade to the inland road network, while in WA, safety improvements to the state's road network was deemed as the highest priority. The report also set a long-term water strategy to protect government, individuals and businesses should be developed by 2025. Now, this is good stuff. It's nation-building stuff. But the question tonight, viewers, is why are we talking about water-proofing Australia as a nation now, in 2020, instead of 50 years ago? Droughts have been around for as long as Adam was a boy. We're a parched, sunburnt country, the driest continent on Earth. And it's now in 2020 that we're having serious conversations about water that will help farmers and communities susceptible to water shortages from being quarantined against water. How is it that we have communities in Australia in 2020 so short of water that we've had to bring trucks in to save them? It's outrageous, and we need to act on this Infrastructure Australia report now and get this sorted straight away. And I can't believe we're having this conversation right now when we could have had the conversation in the 70s, in the 80s, in the 90s. By 2050, Australia needs to be able to supply water to every corner of the continent, regardless of the climatic conditions. Mind you, by 2050, if Labor has its way, we'll have zero greenhouse gas emissions through an economy-wrecking policy that will send the country broke. So maybe it's a moot point after all.